moving, such poignant stories. It's something we can't imagine. When I was writing The Distant Hours, I chose to write about World War II because it's a time that's always fascinated me. I'm a great student of 20th century history just for my own enjoyment and information. And of course the wars are so dramatic, but I'd read a lot about military history, of course, but what interested me was what people were doing at home, you know, social history and domestic histories. So I collected everything I could find for many, many years on those topics. And one of the books I found was called No Time to Say Goodbye. And it was accounts by evacuees who'd been sent from London to live with strangers in places they'd never heard of, let alone been to. And they were so moving, such poignant stories. It's something we can't imagine doing now, you know, sending our children away, and yet people were forced really to do this by the situation. And I knew I'd write about an evacuee one day. One of the things that fascinates me most as a reader and as a writer and as a person, as a human being, is the idea that the past and the present are connected, and that the past is with us always, even in the present, through material inheritances like buildings and objects, but also genetic inheritance and psychological inheritance. You know, we are the product of the families in which we're raised. And I find this to be, at the moment, an almost limitless inspiration to me. It's a great thing to explore using family secrets. Because, of course, secrets and mysteries, my other obsession. Heures Castle is an invention. I made it up, but I read everything I can find on old buildings and the families who live in them, because buildings are beautiful structures, but for me it's more about the different generations of human life that have been lived within their walls. And I've always got a really strong sense whenever I visit old buildings of these layers of the past. And in The Distant Hours, more than any of my other books, I really felt that the castle was a character. It is made up, but of course I visited certain castles in England. One of them was Sissinghurst Castle in Kent, which was the home of Vita Sackville-West, the writer. And that's where I climbed the castle tower and looked inside her writing room, and I just knew that my castle was going to need to have a tower and a writing room at the top.